Hello, hello. I am Burnett. Welcome back to my channel. I'm with Wonderwork Services, and today is part 5 of Ways to Get Ahead. I hope you've enjoyed this series so far, and if you haven't already seen the others, please go back and watch them and let me know what you think. Okay, in this final video, I'll be talking about getting noticed and being willing to get noticed. Because you can do all this work, but if nobody sees you, it's kind of pointless. If nobody notices you, nobody hears you, sees you, and being seen and noticed in today's virtual slash real world is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to talk about being noticed in more of a traditional sense of being seen in the real world because that is so much more powerful, especially if you're just starting out. It's so much more powerful than the virtual world. The virtual world of being seen, of Facebook ads and promoting and boosting is really great if you're larger and you have a bigger budget. But what if you're not there? What if you're just starting out and you can't spend hundreds of dollars or more on Facebook ads every month or boosting posts or promoting on Instagram? You've got to do the old fashioned person to person, getting out there and meeting people, perhaps getting on the phone and talking to people. So networking is going to be critical. And that means you need to stand out. Getting opportunities to speak is going to be important. You need to be noticed and you need to stand out in a crowded field. What makes you noticeable? And how do you not be afraid? Because a lot of times we don't want to be seen as arrogant or trying to get attention. But if no one sees you, you're not going to get attention. And you kind of need attention to be in business. Unless you have some really rare business where no one noticing you is how you stay in business. But I'm guessing that's probably not the case. Just making a guess there. That was not the case. Okay, so being noticed. One, it's how you show up. And I do work with people on this, and this is just a micro piece of being noticed. How you show up into a room, into a space, how you walk in, how you carry yourself. So if you're networking, when you walk in, don't be fumbling. Like, have your stuff ready, have yourself put together. If you've got, a satchel and a purse, that's fine, but don't also be trying to carry your coffee cup with business cards in one hand and your cell phone in the hand. You're just going to look awkward and not put together. Put your cell phone in your purse, put everything else away. If you can put your coffee mug down somewhere else or leave it in the car, just try to look put together when you're coming in because that's your very first impression. Very first impression. Don't be bumbling around. And when you come in, don't be fumbling for things either, like looking down and around, and walk in ready because that is the very first impression. Head up confidently. You've got your business cards ready. You are ready and you're walking with purpose. Even if you're not sure exactly where you're going because you don't know where you're sitting yet, you still walk with your head up, looking as if you do know, and as if it's okay that you don't know because you're supposed to be in this room and you belong. And then dressing the part. If you're at a networking event, especially if you've never been there before and you don't know these people and you don't know how they dress, unless you're in the field where there's kind of a uniform and expected ways of people dressing, dress like you're going to a professional business networking event. At a minimum, business casual. At a minimum. See if you can, stalk their pictures or Facebook or Instagram. What do they dress like? If you look at their other photos of events, are people in business suits? Are they business casual? Are they jeans? What's the general vibe? And try to match that or one better. So if everything is business casual and this is your first time going, you need to be at least business casual or business. Don't don't try to be the one that says, well, despite the fact that I'm a professional, I'm going to wear blue jeans and sneakers, and everyone else is dressed in dress slacks and button downs or skirts or slacks and blouses or whatever they're wearing that's on the line of business and business casual, because they're going to look at you, one, as an outsider because you didn't follow the norms, and that's not how you endear yourself to a group from the beginning. And if you're saying, but that's not me, that's not authentic, unless you are in the type of field where people expect you to dress a certain way. If you're a creative artist, then maybe showing up looking like a very creative person is appropriate. If you're an accountant and you're going to a networking event, yeah, wear the uniform of an accountant at a networking event. You can always let people see the other side of yourself once you've established yourself. But at the very first one, don't try to prove that you're so different unless you're just not wanting to do business with them. Just saying, just saying. That's just my opinion. My opinion. So, how you walk in, how you dress, finally, what you say. Be clear in what you're going to say. Know who you are, know what you stand for, know what you do. Can you answer the question, what do you do? If you can't, you need to be able to figure that out. You need to know your mission. You need to know what you do. So if you haven't already figured that out, I encourage you to figure that out. Get something that you can say in 8 to 10 seconds flat. And that way, when you're out, you know what the gist of it is. You can customize it for each person you're talking to, but you know what you do. And that way, you're not trying to figure it out and saying, well, I kind of, sort of, uh, that makes someone think, oh, they don't really know what they do. Or I just don't really know if I trust that they know what they do. I just don't know. And confusion breeds inactivity. So a confused buyer, confused mind doesn't take action. They'll look for something else that's not confusing. So don't confuse them. Just be clear. Just be clear. And that will make you stand out more as well. Be willing to take some risk. What does that mean? That means when they say, who wants to go first? Raise your hand, offer, and be ready. Because if they say, who wants to introduce their business first? Be willing to go first. You set that first impression. And everyone's going to pay attention to the first person who goes. Period, right? So be willing to get noticed. Answer questions online if you have an expertise. If you hear someone, even just going about your day, and they ask a question that's in your field and you know the answer of expertise, offer them the guidance. Not so long ago, my husband and I were in an Uber and we were talking about real estate and this conversation around buying, renting a home or buying a home, and the options for my mother and whether she could do that in timing. And it just so happened that the Uber driver was also a mortgage broker. Who knew? And he gave us some really great information while we were driving. Really great information. We were just like, wow, do you have a card? And he didn't have any cards. Now, had he had a card, I would have held on to that. And even if I hadn't been able to use him, I would have definitely referred him to someone else. So you just never know. You never know when you're going to have an opportunity to share your wisdom, your knowledge, and let someone notice what you're capable of, who you are, and what you have to offer. I hope that was helpful. Be willing to be noticed and speak up, show up. And that's so important. Show up. How you walk into a room and how you look walking into a room. Not saying you've got to wear three-piece, suits, but look like you fit into that room so that people respect you from visually. People, I hate to say it, people make judgment calls. They judge books by their cover. I'm a writer, I know. They judge books by their cover. And they were going to judge you by what they see initially until they have something otherwise. Until they have something other than that to go on, that is the first impression. How you walk into a room, how you carry yourself, what you have on, and then how you speak or how you show up verbally. How do you make introductions, eye contact, all of the other body language stuff goes into that. But when they first see you, that's the very first impression. So be willing to be noticed and do it in a great way. And sometimes you even got to wear that thing that you're like, oh, that's too much. When else are you going to wear it? When else are you going to wear it? If it's appropriate and you like it and it looks good on you, go ahead and wear it. Wear those shoes. Wear that tie. Wear that jacket. That's where you get to add in your personal flair. Hope that was helpful. I really do. And leave your comments. How do you show up? How do you get noticed? And would you like to know more about getting noticed online as well? Because we talked about this being, the network real world version, especially if you're new. It's most helpful to be able to network in reality with people because otherwise you're competing against people who have a lot of money and can just buy ads, and it's just not feasible if you're starting out, if you're smaller. So you still have to figure out a way to compete. So catch me next week again. I will be starting a new video. So this series is over. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought. What was the most helpful thing? There were 5 ways to get ahead. Which one was most helpful to you? I would love to know. I would love to know. And I want to finish off with a quote. Pablo Picasso said, "Our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success." So I hope you'll apply these 5 ways to get ahead. Incorporate them into whatever strategies and plans you have for your business and for your life so that you can get ahead and so that you can have success on whatever terms you decide. Once again, I am Burnett Sherman. This is Wonderwork Services. I hope you will like this video real quick. It takes 1 click. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any videos I post each week on Tuesday. Thanks so much. Have a great week.